little metal rails. That's what I was after. And I used them on my bed, and I'm pretty happy. Well, excuse me, Sparky. He's talking back to me now. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with the way the little floor turned out in my pickup bed here. I used those rails that I pulled out of there as a little bit of trim to go around the outside of this, across the front, around the outside, across the back, and I've got a piece underneath there, so I snapped a chalk line and ran screws down through there and bolted this all to a couple of pieces that run across underneath, little strips of wood, little 2x, and then I built myself some little handles and welded some chain together and put some plates on the bottom and drilled them so I could put these bolts through there, and then nut them up on the back side with some good big washers and lock washers, and it's really handy because you can just reach there and grab that by both handles and just yank it out of there. So if I ever need to, that gives me access if I ever need to get under there. It gives me access to my brakes, gas tank, probably battery, all kinds of things. So yeah, I'm kind of liking that. I found this old sign, talked about this before. It was falling off a fence, and it says the gate must be kept closed. And so yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way my little floorboard turned out there. But what I'm working on now is steering, and I had to take that steering box off and remount it. I haven't hooked up the pitman arm yet, but I will here shortly. I'm just going to get everything mounted up first, and then I'll put that on. But I kind of repositioned that a little bit so that it lines up the way it should in the cab, and my intention is to run my old original 1932 Chevy steering wheel, because it just it just looks cool. It's just part of the truck, and so I've kind of modified this shaft to fit it, and I've got a little half moon key I have to put back in there. But I went down and got this little pillow block, and I thought they were kind of spendy, but the guy brought that out, and I looked at the invoice and I said, $7? And he goes, yeah. So it was something. He said he usually sells these pieces separately because that all pops apart, so you can get the bearing out, and then this outer housing comes down and all that. But I don't know if it was something they were discontinuing or what. But anyway, I thought that was a pretty good deal, and that's going to hold my steering wheel in place. But as you can see, the angle on this is much different than the angle on the bottom of that dash, and rather than just try to bolt that up there or try to bend these, it would make it a little bit too tight, and I'd have to move my steering box up some more, and I've kind of run out of room on my mount out there to elongate the hole anymore and move the box up, tilt the box up anymore. And yeah, it still looks okay now, but it wouldn't if I raised it anymore. So I'm going to build a little adapter to go in there, and I have a piece of metal here cut just about the right width for that, and then I'll go put that in my little cheapo Harbor Freight metal brake and bend that so it's kind of a V shape, and it'll fit. One side will fit up on there and the other side down on there, and these bolt holes don't line up anyway. So that's what I'm into, and when I get a little further along, I'll shoot another video. Okie doke. Well, we have us a steering wheel, and there's my little bracket that I made. I bent to the angle to fit those two surfaces there, and I decided I just might be a brainiac because I was smart enough to put those bolts in before I bent that down. I might have been able to get a nut in there, but I wasn't sure about that, so I put the bolts in first, and that worked out real well. But anyway, I put a new master cylinder, swapped out the master cylinder on the green bean day before yesterday, and I put a new one on, and the new one came with a little boot that was a little bit different than the application that was on there, and the boot I had was okay, so I just used the old one. But I kept that old boot, and look there it is. And that worked out pretty good. Fit on there just right. And so there we go. We have the steering wheel. Long ways to go, but you know, that's closer than it was. One step. One more thing done. Might tackle a seat next. I don't know. I've got a lot to do. My neighbor was down here today, and he goes, "Man, you'll be driving this in 2 weeks." And I go, "Boy, I don't think so." And I said, "You know, I got a steering wheel to mount, change the steering box," which that's done today. But I still have a gas tank to mount, emergency brake cables to figure out, and set up for that. I want to use my old pull handle for emergency brake. So I've got to figure that out and build some linkage and some mounts to hold those cable ends and all that. That's going to be quite a job, but still have to do that. Have to put a seat in. Got to get my cooling system working, and want to switch it out to convert it from 6 volt to 12 volt, and that won't be too hard because I don't have any lights on it anyway. So there's not light one on it. So I can just put 12 volt lights on and then do the ignition stuff, 12 volt coil and so forth. But I may have to change all this pedal, and I don't know if I'm going to leave that master cylinder down there. I'm thinking I may take it out and put it up under the dash. I don't want it out on the firewall, but I do want it. I might put it up under the dash and build myself a little bell crank system. I saw where one guy did that on a YouTube clip, and it was real nice, and I've seen that before. One of the local guys here in the car club has a 56 Chevy that's done that, got a big booster in there, and I guess he told me yesterday that Chrysler did that a long time ago. But anyway, that's a whole other story, but it's a little bit further than it was. So yes sirree, we can steer now anyway, so that'll be good. Look at there. That steering box is pretty good too. I may need to put a seal on the top. When I tipped it up, a little bit of oil ran out on the top. So I'll probably change out the oil in it and put a new seal on that top so it doesn't leak. But I think it's good. So anyway, after I told my neighbor all the stuff I had to do yet, he goes, "Well, might be a month." I'm going, "Yeah, it might be." Oh, so that's a little update. Got the bed done and the steering wheel today. So might tackle the gas tank tomorrow. Thanks for watching.